Alright, my heretics. Welcome back to Damnation. I'm here to continue my series on the Forge World units available at Chaos. And today, we're taking a look at the characters section, the Lords of Ruin. Edgy. The first character on the list is Zufor the Impaler. He's supposed to be a lord of the World Eaters warband named the Skull Takers, so he only grants rerolls of once to hit for that specific warband, which is a little autistic, but sure, why not? He's a pretty normal Terminator Chaos Lord, with 1 extra wound, 1 extra attack, 1 extra strength, and 2 neat special rules, namely Favor of the Blood God, which allows him to deny once per psychic phase, and Icon of Slaughter, which reduces morale of enemies within 6 inches of Zufor by 1. Everything else about him is pretty vanilla, with Death to the False Emperor, a 4-up invuln save, and being able to deep strike. He comes equipped with his Claw of Damnos, which is literally just a fucking power fist with a combi bolter inside of it. The bolter part at least has AP -1 though. His second weapon is called the Skull Taker Axe, which is a melee weapon and strength user, AP -2 and flat 2 damage, with the addition that if you're targeting a character with it, every 6 up to wound will become AP -4 and 3 flat damage. The axe is nice overall, and you'll probably be using it against anything toughness 5 or lower, but the model overall is pretty meh. He's not terrible, and he's not too great either. I do own Zufor, I like to use him, and his deny does come in handy every now and then, but the biggest downside to this guy is that he costs 120 points, and, well, he doesn't really bring that much for the points. Technically speaking, I say that there's nothing specifically wrong with him, but with Terminator Chaos Lords in general. He's one of the first characters I've ever used, and, well, I really wish he had more of a point, but right now the whole character duelist shtick they're trying to push with the new Master of Executions and even the new Slaneshi releases isn't really doing much. Now that guy was our Corn Lord, and we also have a Nergal Lord in the form of Necrosis the Undying. Necrosis is kind of a normal Death Guard sorcerer, which also counts as a Chaos Lord for his own warband, the Tainted. His most unique rule is his Master of the Dead, which gives Poxwalkers within 6 inches of him a reroll for their disgustingly resilient rolls of 1. Of course, he also comes with his own disgustingly resilient Death to the False Emperor and a 4-up invuln. He can cast 2 spells per turn and knows 3 from the Contagion discipline and, well, Smite, making for a pretty decent caster with an invuln. He's armed with a Pox pistol, which is a bolt pistol with AP -1 and damage 2, and a Tainted Force Blade, which is basically a Force Axe, with a reroll to wound rolls of 1, because blighted weapons and, you know. He got a bit nerfed, with Shutter approved, and he now costs 135 points, which is a lot of damn points for a sorcerer. However, he isn't totally bad, since if you're playing as a Tainted, he actually does provide a lot of good support. I don't really see people playing a whole lot of Poxwalkers, but maybe a large force of them with Typhus and this guy might be worth something, considering both he and Typhus could also provide Psyker support, decent melee, and even a little bit of shooting, while moving their lumbering masses of zombies on the advance. Overall, he's a little steep in price, but a sorcerer with a 4-up invuln is damn nice, and, well, he's at least playable in friendly games, you know? And the next, and last, main character in here is Lord Arcos, of the Faithless warband. These guys are basically Alpha Legion, and for all intents and purposes, you'd be using the Alpha Legion traits for them, and honestly, I think he works. He comes with pretty bog standard normal Chaos Lord stats, and the standard Death to the False Emperor. He only has a 5-up invuln for some reason, but he also has a permanent -1 to be hit during the shooting phase, which combined with the Alpha Legion trait, means that anyone shooting this guy does so at a -2 hit roll modifier, almost all the time, and that's gnarly. His support ability does not provide rerolls of 1s to hit. Instead, he adds 1 to advance and charge rolls for units of the Faithless warband within 6 inches of him. Furthermore, Arcos gives you 1 free command point if he's your warlord, and you can deploy him like you would a Space Marine Scout, anywhere you want, not necessarily in your deployment zone. He's armed with a pretty deadly Black Blade of Venom, which is Strength User, AP -2 and 3 flat damage, and adds 1 to wound rolls against anything that ain't a vehicle. His ranged weapon is, sadly, a combi Malta, but then again, you can't really have it all now, can you? There has to be a little bit of suck in there. Now to end things, Arcos only costs 105 points, which is quite a bit for just a Chaos Lord, but this guy seems like he might be fun to be used with maybe a large squad of Possessed, some Psychers, some Demon Herald, you know? Even a bit of an advance. Make that charge more reliable. And well, I guess his sword is pretty deadly in melee as well, not to be totally underestimated. And now last up, we got a total clusterfuck of a unit with a bit of awesome sprinkled on top as a bonus. The Chaos Hellwright. Now this guy is basically a Chaos Tech Priest, Dark Mechanicus and all. He's got the usual death to the False Emperor, he heals 1 wound per turn, and he has an aura that adds +1 to the attacks and leadership stats of nearby Hellforged units. And don't worry, I'll be covering the Hellforged soon as well. He can also repair or curse vehicles just like a Warpsmith can. So it's either D3 repair or 1 mortal wound and a 2-up to an enemy. He does, however, have an added option of being able to repair Chaos Knights, which Warpsmiths cannot. They come equipped with a lot of weapons, so for melee, they fight using mecha tendrils, you know, the tentacles, which we already know about, and their infernal axes, which are strength +1, AP -3, 2 flat damage. You know that these guys are strength 5, toughness 5 models with 5 wounds and 3 attacks apiece. For range combat, they carry void cutters, which are strength 8, AP -4, 3 damage assault weapons with a single shot at only 8 inches range, but well, they are assault. And these add 1 to their wound rolls when shot against vehicles. They also carry soul burner pistols, which are pretty gnarly. They're 12-inch range pistols with 2 shots, which inflict mortal wounds when they hit, but carry an overcharged plasma rule, so they hurt you when you roll 1, dealing 1 mortal wound to you. You can also put these guys on top of a Dark Abeyant. Now, I have no idea what the fuck a Dark Abeyant is, but it's supposed to be some kind of mount, and these guys have no official models, so go nuts and convert your own, man. The mount increases their movement to 8 inches only, and gives them 1 extra wound, as well as a new weapon called a Warpfire Lance. The Warpfire Lance is 15-inch range, heavy 2 shots at strength 6, AP -3, and D6 damage a pop. Furthermore, each time you roll a 6-up to wound with it, the weapon causes another automatic hit. So you also need to roll 2 wound for that one. Being mounted also gives these guys a 5-up invuln, as well as a rule that lets them ignore penalties to moving and shooting heavy weapons, although it decreases their normal advance range to only a D3. The normal Hellwright costs 130 points, and if you want to mount him on an Abeyant, or whatever that is, they'll set you back a total of 175 points. Now both options are pretty expensive, and I honestly just use the normal ones in an attempt to support Chaos Knights and Hellforged units, since for anything else you can just use way cheaper Warpsmiths. I am a little conflicted about these though. In some ways they seem good, but then you see how much they cost, and realize that the only 100% guaranteed to work part of their kit is the buff to the Hellforged. And the Hellforged are much more powerful when they shoot than when they charge. Trust me on that one. That was the last of the Lords of Ruin, my fellow worshippers of the Dark Gods. I'll definitely keep on using Zuffor whenever the situation feels right. But what about you? Do you want to use any of these guys in your games? Do you want to include any of these characters in your armies? Let me know in the comment section below. See you guys next time.